Right, let's look at the Championship then. And it's pretty wide open this year, according to the betting, Ed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so Middlesbrough and Villa are co-favs at 13-2, Fulham 15-2, Wolves 10s, Sheffield Wednesday 11s, Norwich 12s, Derby 14s, Hull 16s, Sunderland 16s, and Reading 18s and 18s Barling.
Okie doke. Mark, lead on.
Yeah, I like Fulham in this market. Jokanovic, the manager, having a bit of a bust up with the transfer committee. Well, not the best way, to go into the season. But I think he's maybe just trying to cause a little bit of chaos there to get his own way. Re-signing Kearney and Sessegnon, I think, is the best business of the whole. No matter what anybody outside of Wolves do, I suppose would be the only exception. I think getting them two players signed on is absolutely key to them. They were the best team in the second half of the season in the Championship. If they play to that standard, I think they'll win it. There's no Newcastle around this time.
Okay, doke. Joe, who do you think will win the Championship?
I like Borough in this. But they weren't great in the Premier League last time. They looked woefully short of goals, and that did for them in the end. But they definitely had a sort of decent core of a side that was able to defend, and they were quite functional in that regard. They've appointed Gary Monk as manager. I think that's a really shrewd appointment as well. And they've signed decent players. They've signed Britta Sombalonga. It's a big gamble because he's had injury problems, but he is a top quality goal scorer in that division if he gets game time. And aside from that, players like Ashley Fletcher, they're good players at that level, and I think they should go really close. Yeah,
I agree with you. I look at the top of the market, and Borough and Villa. My initial thought is, well, I'm going to have a very big match bet on Borough because I've got Villa down as they're just a toxic wasteland of a club. Last 2 seasons have been a disaster. All right, John Terry's going in. It might all fall into place, but it's a massive assumption that's going to happen in the market. They're not for me. Who is it for you, Ed, in the Championship?
Yeah, I'd agree entirely there with yourself and Joe. Like, I'm all over Middlesbrough. I think they're unbelievable at 13-2. I actually think they'll hose up myself. And I'd agree with you on Villa too. I don't get their transfer policy. Like, they're signing all these older players who have to play twice a week every week. It's I don't know. I think it's too hard a league for that. But Middlesbrough 13-2. Joe said a second ago, quality manager appointed. I actually think their squad's stronger this season than it was last season. They've kept on to all their defensive players, and they were very good last season defensively. They just couldn't score. And they've brought in Randolph, Sambalonga, Cyrus Christie's quality as well, Johnny Howson, and they've signed a lad as well from Toulouse called Martin Braithwaite, and he bagged a fair few goals in French League 1 last season. I think he averaged 1 and 2, so he could be brilliant at that level as well. I massive bet here for me. Middlesbrough 13-2. Yeah.
Okay, let's go down into League 1, and Ed, this is your moment. Blackburn last year, all that heartache. Now they've spent big. The Venkies are back in fashion. Everyone loves them, and they're massive jollies for this, aren't they?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment for a month now. So this is all about Blackburn here. They're 4-1. Wigan are 8. Bradford and Bradford and Pompey are 9s. MK Dons 10s. Charlton 12s. Scunthorpe 14s. But I don't need to go on after Blackburn, really, to be honest. I think Blackburn will absolutely hose up in this league, and I'd encourage everybody to have an each way double with Middlesbrough and Blackburn. They've just Venky's oddly have just started spending money for the first time in their reign, I think, properly anyway, this season, and it doesn't take a lot to win League One, and we are the big boys, I suppose, in League One anyway. Do you know what I mean? And they've signed
I listened to him giving it the big, and we're the big boys in League One.
Yeah, it feels good, I tell you. So they've brought in Bradley Dack. He got League One Player of the Year 2 seasons ago. They brought in Peter Whittingham, Richie Smallwood, Dominic Samuel, Ben Gladwin's quality at this level as well. And they're actually expected to bring in a few more as well, definitely defensively, and a goalkeeper as well after losing Jason Steele. I'd back them in every single market going, every positive market going anyway. Yeah.
Thank you for that lovely long answer. It enabled me to watch the Goodwood race in which Big Orange has just got beat. Thanks for that. League One views from you, Mark Langdon.
I think Blackburn will win as well. I think in the last postcast of last season, you asked for a few anti-post ones. I put up Blackburn about double the odds. It was just ridiculous what price they opened up at. It made no sense whatsoever. And even at the current prices, I don't think it does. I suppose you want to see another forward come in, but I'm pretty sure he will bring one in. But you've still got people like Charlie Mulgrew and people, I don't know what sort of wages he's on in League One. But, their squad just looks way better than anyone else. I do think that it's very competitive in behind them. MK Dons There's a lot of teams I quite like, but I don't think any of them will get close to a Blackburn team that only lost 3 of their last 15 games under Mowbray. Anyway, the only reason they went down is because Owen Coyle was manager, and they finished with 51 points, which would normally be enough to stay up. I'm struggling to see a negative. I'm going on Saturday to see the value of the stock when they open up at Southend. So,
oh yeah,
yeah,
that'll be good.
Yeah, if it's one of them ones where if they get turned over 3-0, you have to maybe rethink. But for now, they do look head and shoulders above the rest.
Don't forget, Mark, the first league game last season, Fulham beat Newcastle, and Newcastle did all right in the end.
Yeah, so did Fulham though. But also just on that, I mean, you don't want Mowbray to bring in all these players, start slowly, and then get sacked, and then they bring someone in with a completely different style of play, and all of a sudden Whittingham's no use because they're hoofing up to some 8-foot forward. So I just hope they start well. If they start well, it could be a Sheffield United job.
Isn't it going to be odd, Whittingham not playing for Cardiff? Very odd. Joe, what do you like in League One?
I like Blackburn as well, but I'll give a shout to my boys, MK Dons. I think we signed really well this summer. When Carl Robinson left halfway through last season, Robbie Nielsen came in, and he was a stabilising influence. We were low down in the table when Robinson left, and Nielsen came in and got us up to sort of mid-table. And we've signed really well. We've got Aaron Tishabola in. He cost a lot of money when Villa bought him. They've loaned us him for the season. We've got other players. Peter Paulitz, highly rated from Aberdeen.
The question is though, Joe, are you naturally optimistic or pessimistic?
I'm very pessimistic.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
Oh, right, so that means something. Because I always think taking tips from an actual supporter of a club is laced with danger, because you get these optimistic ones who think they'll win every game, and you get ones who think...
Joe's quite a downbeat.
I'm very surprised by how well we've signed this summer.
Good,
so,
that could be a tip in itself.
Well, they were the subject of a foreign tipping line gamble in the summer as well, which is why they're now into 10-1 from... I think they opened up about 16s, didn't they, Ed?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's look at League Two then. And again, there's a team for money, isn't there? It's in Mansfield, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah, Mansfield is shorting up. To be honest, the money's come for all the top. It's come for the top 2 teams here. Luton are 11-2 as well. We've had to hack them because we've racked up such a liability on them. Coventry are 9s. Lincoln are 11-1. Swindon 12s. Notts County 14s. Chesterfield 16s. Exeter are oddly 17s. So are Carlisle and Cambridge. And Colchester, it's 20s Barling.
And what price are you, the Favs?
Oh, sorry, 11-2. Both
11
of them.
11-2 joint. Okay, fine. Mark, you lead on. Who's going to win League Two?
Luton are going to. They're definitely not going to finish outside of the each way places. I hope not. Anyway, otherwise I'll be skinned. I've been backing them all summer. They opened up about 10-1. It was a ridiculous price. There was just no way they should have been 10s.
What's the clue?
They were the best team not to get promoted last season, and they've strengthened really well. James Collins got 20 goals for a struggling Crawley team last season, play up front with Hilton. They sold McGeehan for around about £1 million, which has enabled them to really strengthen, and he was out injured from January onwards, so he's not even really a miss. They've turned down over £1 million for their right back from Nottingham Forest. That's how confident they are, that they're really going to go well this season. I think McCormack will add bite to the midfield. Shinnie is a really good League Two player. He's been playing Championship for a while now. I'm struggling to see how they finish outside the top 3, Bruce.
That could all be absolute mythology to me. They could all be people who don't exist. But when Mark says it like that, he's the man who knows about these leagues. I don't go down that far. It sounded very convincing.
Well, last season, they had the second best defence in the league, despite not really having a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was the one that made the Ricks in the playoff semi-final. So he's brought in 3 goalkeepers now. One of them's coming from the Czech top flight, who did really well for Yeovil when they were on the rise. So, he's expected to be the number 1. So defensively, they were fine. They've now added a 20-goal striker and some midfielders.
Okay, very convincing case for Luton from Mark Langdon. Joe Champion, what do you think will happen in League Two?
Hey, I was quite impressed with Lincoln last year, and I think there's claims that they could go back to back. Really, teams have done it in the past. It's not completely impossible. And the managers, manager and assistant manager, the Cowley brothers, they're very impressive. They talk all the right stuff, but they get it done as well on the pitch.
Have they spent much?
They brought in a few players. They brought in Michael Boswick from Peterborough,
and
a very
with
good
Championship teams.
Very good League One player. So, he'll be at the heart of their midfield. And I think, why not have a go on them?
Okay, what price are Lincoln, Ed?
They're 11-1.
11-1. And Ed, who's your League Two fancy?
I've no massive opinion here, to be honest. But I just I'd respect all the shrewd money, and all the shrewd money has come. Well, the Mark Langdon money's come for Luton, but there's other shrewd money from Mansfield. So I reckon it probably will be between the two of them. There's a few quid around as well floating around for Forest Green for top half finish today to 11, and that's coming from shrewd sources as well.